I want to spend a few minutes talking about the science of vaccine safety. Unless you're dealing with an inert substance, every product has side effects, and the COVID-19 vaccines are no exception. Sadly, the public discourse on the safety of these vaccines has been oversimplified by sound bites that sum up a complicated area in a single word: safe. The CDC says millions have received COVID-19 vaccines under the most intense safety monitoring in United States history. The impression is that the system is so finely tuned that even the rarest needle in a haystack will be found. So if the officials have found something, well then, it must have not found something, then well then it must not be occurring. I'm afraid that is just not the case. First, the timeline for noticing, researching, and establishing harm is slow. Take myocarditis. First slide, please. It took 4 months into Israel's vaccination campaign to recognize this side effect. That's despite the fact that myocarditis generally strikes within days of dosing, particularly the second dose. So people were experiencing these side effects for months before officials acknowledged the vaccine as cause. This delay in detecting, researching, and acknowledging side effects is normal, and it is devastating. The patients at this meeting today know that devastation firsthand. But it's also devastating because unless you recognize harms soon after they occur, you can't use that knowledge to prevent harm in the next person about to get the vaccine. I am stunned when I hear people dismiss myocarditis as an acceptable side effect, especially for young people, because myocarditis is life-threatening and a life-disabling condition. In the United States, still looking for that slide. It's coming? It won't show? Okay, that's fine. In the United States, 10,304 myocarditis reports have been logged in VAERS. Of these, more than 20% occurred in those aged 12 to 32. If you contend myocarditis risk is not serious, consider this. VAERS underreporting is a serious issue with estimates that only 1 to 10% of all serious vaccine adverse events that occur are actually reported. And consider this. We have moved on to boosters despite data suggesting myocarditis risk increases as dose increase. This is confirmed with the data from VAERS, which is a slide I wanted. Oh, there it is. Go back, yay. That is with VAERS. If this is what myocarditis looks like after 2 doses, what will myocarditis look after 3 or 4 or 5, or potentially a lifetime of mRNA shots? Remember, we don't know the long-term prognosis of vaccine-induced myocarditis, whether heart damage is permanent. Why don't we know? Time. We haven't studied the problem long enough. It takes time to discern problems and time to fully understand them. Mass vaccination of brand new products deprives you of that precious time. Now the next slide. Let's talk about deaths. The ultimate signal. As of October 25th, VAERS logged over 9,000 US-based reports of deaths after vaccination. Globally, it exceeds 17,000 reported into the VAERS system. How can any thinking person not look at these data and ask, just what on earth is going on? Critics rightly note that VAERS doesn't allow causality between exposure and outcome. Indeed, VAERS only provides signals, important signals, a need to further investigate. Regarding VAERS reported deaths, CDC's webpage states, a review of available clinical information, including death certificates, autopsy, and medical records, has not established a causal link to COVID-19 vaccines. I want to know, where are these medical charts and autopsy report reviews? Have they been published or posted on CDC or FDA websites? Have they been presented at the VRBPAC and APEC meetings? Next slide. Indeed, formal request to CDC for information on follow-up of serious VAERS events confirmed the lack of procedure to collect autopsy, medical records, or death certificate data, or any other data related to deaths reported in VAERS. Our process contrasts with Norway's, where the Norwegian Medicines Agency requested an independent review by geriatric specialists of the first 100 deaths that occurred in nursing homes after vaccination. In their thorough review, they found 36% of deaths likely or possibly due to vaccination. This is vital data, but more importantly, this study demonstrates a process which should already be in place and routinely implemented here. But it's not. We are making critical decisions about mass vaccination in vulnerable populations based on little to no data. In last week's VRPAC meeting on Pfizer's EUA request for children 5 to 11, committee member and New England Journal of Medicine editor-in-chief Eric Rubin acknowledged the dearth of pediatric safety data by stating, "We're not going to get the data until we start using this vaccine. Our children are our data." We need to ask, what is the purpose of VAERS and other pharmacovigilance data systems if we have mandates? Why even do any post-marketing surveillance? The reason cannot be to gather more information to make an informed personal choice, because with mandates, the vaccination decision has already been made for us by governments, by schools, by employers. Whether myocarditis occurs in 1 in 500 young people or 1 in 10,000 is moot, because mandates coerce individuals to take the vaccine or lose their educational and employment opportunities and otherwise be shunned by society. Is there a secret threshold for revoking mandates? Who makes this call? What is their decision framework? It's not natural immunity. It's certainly not herd immunity. Who decides what level of risk is acceptable to deny a person's ability to decide for her or himself what goes into his or her body? The entire point of pharmacovigilance is to provide signals that spur thorough study to better inform medical decisions. Mandates and the rushed rollout of these vaccines where individuals cannot make informed decisions because they have already been vaccinated undermine the whole purpose of any vaccine safety system. Thank you.